Great Day Houston.
Yeah, oh yeah! You weren't watching just any show.
That's right. Just right, al dente.
From celebrities, food, fashion, health, and more.
You got to change your lifestyle.
Exactly.
Wake up with your morning cup of fun with your host, Deborah Duncan. Great Day starts now.
Welcome back, everybody. Does this sound like you? Irregular cycles, PMS, possibly infertility? Have you been told that birth control pills and antidepressants are your answer? Our next doctor says those answers may be causing more harm than good to your body. Here with a more natural solution, please welcome back Dr. Stephen Hotze from the Hotze Health and Wellness Center, along with his patient, Kathryn Ritchie. Hello.
Thank you, sweetheart.
All right, Kathryn, you kind of had some real big bumps in the road early on in your life.
When I was 18 years old, I was in Russia, where my family was missionaries, and one morning a drunk driver drove into my sister and I as we were standing at a bus stop. She died. I almost died. And over the coming years, the doctors focused a lot on my broken bones because my legs weren't healing.
Yeah.
I was in a wheelchair, my jaw and face bones were messed up, but they didn't focus a lot on what else was going on internally.
Yeah, because you were going into early menopause in your 20s.
Yes, yes.
And Dr. Hotze, a number of things can cause that, but in this case, perhaps the stress and the craziness of what had happened to her?
Well, it can. She had a very tragic and severe, tragic incident losing her sister. She was run over and had terrible problems, healing after that. And that puts a tremendous amount of stress on the adrenal gland. And the adrenal gland makes cortisol. And this turned out to be a problem with Kathryn. As a matter of fact, you began to, when did you stop having your cycles?
Oh, right at that time. I mean, my body was just in so much trauma.
And so it was, you went for literally months and years without having a menstrual cycle.
Maybe have one, maybe.
Yeah, and of course, if you're not having a cycle, you're not getting pregnant.
Right.
That's right.
Or your chances of getting pregnant are diminished.
And what did your physicians tell you about the opportunity to get pregnant?
Oh, they said, you're going into menopause, there's really nothing we can do. You can try infertility specialists, but really you're in menopause, you're losing bone density, there's really not much we can do. I went to one of the most famous clinics in the United States, 50 doctors. I stopped counting at 50,
wow.
and they just really didn't have any.
Yeah, and outside of the feeling like you went into menopause, what were some of your, did you deal with depression? Did you deal with?
I was emotionally, I mean, I wanted a baby more than anything besides, my husband most, but I wanted a baby so much, and so I went through just a spiritual darkness of really seeking. I know God has a good plan for me, but I feel sometimes like he's forgotten about my desires. So it's a spiritual time for me, but also physically, I was having hot flashes. I was nauseated. I was having ovarian cysts rupturing. It was just hard for me.
You're falling apart.
Yeah, it was hard for me to work. I actually finally had to stop working because I was so sick.
This is in her 20s.
Yeah, yeah. And so, Dr. Hotze, what that says to you, as opposed to, hey, just try to make yourself comfortable and too bad for you, what that says to you is something is going on hormonally, and if there's a problem with the hormones, we need to replace those hormones. Exactly. So when you looked at her lab work, what did you see?
Well, more than just looking at the lab work, when we took her history and listened to her, what her history told us is, one, her hormones aren't right. So we know we've got a problem there. So let's see if we can get her cranked back up. And we know that she was under a tremendous amount of stress, both physically and emotionally. Spiritually, she was under stress, and that affects the adrenal glands. So we recommended that she start on some cortisol, which is your natural adrenal hormone for stress, and a little bit of progesterone. And that was back in March of 2010.
And something's happened since then. And that's something that's happened. Well, you have Nicholas Ritchie, your husband, but Nicholas is holding your baby. This had to be a moment for you, I'm sure, when you heard the words, "You're pregnant."
We are absolutely in shock.
And then here you are with this beautiful baby. And Dr. Hotze,
her story about how she found out she was pregnant is really,
How did you find out?
I had herniated a disc in my back, so I was driving to the back doctor, just not thinking about being pregnant at all. And I just felt like, I really felt like God said, stop and get a pregnancy test. And I thought, it's the craziest thought I ever had, but it wouldn't go away. And so finally I stopped and I got one, but I thought, well, I don't want my husband to think that I think I'm pregnant, even though I don't think I'm pregnant.
Right.
So I don't want to disappoint him and make him feel bad for me. So I actually went to Starbucks. I took the test at Starbucks. And it's positive, so I went home and I just shoved it in his face because I didn't even know how to tell him I was
And I just
so
got to ask your husband, after she was diagnosed and treated, did you get a different wife?
Definitely, yes. A lot more. She had more energy and more, just more relaxed and a lot.
Looked healthier.
She was much more healthy.
I gained 25 pounds. I had been so
Yeah, because you were having a
underweight.
problem gaining weight. We got to figure that part out, Dr. Hotze, because I'd like to get in on some of that. But anyway, yeah, but having it can be just as bad not being able to gain weight
what
as
this
well.
points out is that it's not one hormone, but it's the combination of hormones.
And understanding that.
That's right. It's a combination of your adrenal hormones, your sex hormones, and your thyroid hormone as they work together synergistically to restore your health. So oftentimes you go to a doctor, they'll just give you one hormone. Well, you need a little thyroid, or maybe we're going to give you a little of this. They usually don't ever support the adrenal gland. And of course, we put her on a good vitamin supplementation program, and all that did was bolster her system. And it's amazing what cortisol can do in this instance. That was really the missing link, is that she had adrenal fatigue.
So if someone says you cannot have children, it would behoove you to think about going to someone like you who can look at all the hormones together before you'd even start any other process. And the same thing with...
I like to say, go to a fertility doctor, not an infertility doctor.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, and then I'm just going to touch on the fact that so many women now are rushing to have hysterectomies when sometimes all it is let's just replace your progesterone. Let's replace your estrogen.
Absolutely. They're way too... 600,000 too many hysterectomies a year, which could be easily averted with natural progesterone.
Wow. Dr. Hotze, thank you very much.
You.
Dr. Hotze brought copies of his book, Hormones, Health, and Happiness, for everyone in our studio audience. That book explains a lot of what we were talking about and a whole lot more, makes it very easy, very simple to understand. He also hosts a radio show, Health and Wellness Solutions. It is Monday through Thursday from 12 to 1 p.m. on 700 AM KSEV. And to make an appointment with the Hotze Health and Wellness Center, you can call this number. It is 281-698-8698, 281-698-8698, or log on to hotzehwc.com. All right, so is the baby's middle name Hotze or no? Okay. Want to permanently lose an inch during your lunch break? We'll show you how when we come back.